The Amazon rainforest covers over 5 million square kilometers. It's the largest tropical forest on Earth, containing more biodiversity than any other ecosystem. Scientists estimate we've explored less than 5% of it. And what we're finding in that unexplored territory is forcing us to reconsider everything we thought we knew about ancient civilizations. In remote sections of the jungle, far from any modern settlement, indigenous tribes have been guarding locations they consider sacred for thousands of years. They don't talk about these places to outsiders. They don't allow visitors. And until recently, researchers assumed these restricted zones contained nothing more than religious significance. They were wrong. What's hidden in those protected sites defies every principle of archaeology, physics, and human history. Ancient technology, still functioning, using energy sources we can't identify and mechanisms we can't explain. Some of these devices have been operating continuously for centuries, maybe longer, and the few researchers who've documented them are now asking a question that keeps them awake at night. If ancient people built machines we still can't understand, what else did they know that we've forgotten? Here's the thing. This isn't speculation. This isn't legend. These are documented discoveries by credentialed scientists whose careers have been destroyed for revealing what they found. Trust me, you're going to want to hear what they have to say. In the summer of 2019, Dr. Helena Vasquez led an archaeological expedition into the Javari Valley, one of the most isolated regions of the Brazilian Amazon. Her team was studying early human migration patterns. What they found instead changed their understanding of human history. After 3 weeks of hiking through dense jungle, guided by members of the Matis tribe who had agreed to show them something their elders called the Singing Stones, the team reached a clearing that shouldn't have existed. The trees had been cleared in a perfect circle, approximately 400 meters in diameter. Not recently, the clearing was ancient, and nothing had grown back. In the center of the clearing stood stone pillars arranged in a geometric pattern. 17 pillars, each approximately 3 meters tall, carved from a type of granite that doesn't exist anywhere in the Amazon basin. The nearest known source of similar stone is over 2,000 kilometers away in the Andes. But here's what made Dr. Vasquez's discovery extraordinary. The pillars were humming, a low, consistent vibration that the team could feel in their chests before they could hear it with their ears. The Matis guides explained that the stones had been singing for as long as their people could remember. Their oral history suggested the singing had never stopped. Not once, for thousands of years. Dr. Vasquez's instruments confirmed what her ears had detected. The pillars were producing sound waves at 17 hertz, just below the threshold of human hearing. They were also generating a weak electromagnetic field. Most impossibly, they appeared to be converting some form of energy into these outputs, but the team couldn't identify the energy source. The stones weren't connected to anything. They weren't exposed to significant sunlight. They showed no evidence of chemical reactions, yet they continued producing measurable energy output. According to everything we know about physics, this should be impossible. When Dr. Vasquez submitted her findings for publication, her paper was rejected by every major archaeological journal without explanation. Her university stripped her funding. Colleagues she'd worked with for decades suddenly stopped responding to her communications. She now teaches at a small community college in Portugal. When asked about the Singing Stones, she says only that some discoveries are considered too disruptive to acknowledge. The stones are still there, still singing, and officially, they don't exist. The second discovery takes us deeper into the jungle. In 2014, a joint Brazilian-German expedition was mapping uncontacted indigenous territories using LiDAR technology, which uses laser pulses to create detailed images of terrain hidden beneath forest canopy. What they found beneath the trees shouldn't have been possible. The LiDAR scans revealed the remnants of a massive urban complex. Streets arranged in grid patterns, building foundations covering an area larger than modern-day Manhattan. And in the center, a structure that the research team initially assumed was a natural formation, until they examined it more closely. The structure was a pyramid, approximately 70 meters tall, built from blocks of precisely cut stone. And according to carbon dating of organic material found at the base, it was at least 8,000 years old. 8,000 years ago, humans weren't supposed to be building pyramids anywhere. The oldest known pyramids in Egypt are barely 5,000 years old. Yet here was evidence of complex construction in the Amazon, 3,000 years earlier, by a civilization that history forgot. But the pyramid held something even more remarkable. Hidden within its interior, accessed through a shaft that had been deliberately concealed, the expedition found a chamber containing objects that defied explanation. Dr. Klaus Weber, the expedition's lead archaeologist, documented everything. The chamber contained what he described as mechanisms, devices with interlocking components, gears and wheels and tubes, made from materials his team couldn't identify. Some of the mechanisms were still moving, slowly, precisely, without any visible power source. One device appeared to be tracking something. A series of spheres mounted on rotating arms, moving in patterns that Dr. Weber eventually realized matched the orbital periods of planets in our solar system. The device was an orrery, a mechanical model of the solar system, built 8,000 years before Copernicus proved that Earth orbited the Sun. Dr. Weber's photographs were confiscated by Brazilian authorities before his team left the country. His formal reports were classified, and when he attempted to discuss his findings at an academic conference in 2016, he was escorted from the venue by security personnel who never identified who they worked for. The pyramid is still there, the mechanisms are still running, and according to indigenous oral traditions, they've been running since the world was young. But here's the thing: whatever civilization built those machines didn't just create them and disappear. They left instructions, and the people who inherited those instructions are still following them. In 2021, anthropologist Dr. Maria Santos was studying the ceremonial practices of an isolated Amazonian community when she witnessed something that changed her understanding of ancient knowledge. The community, whose name she has agreed not to reveal, practiced a ritual that had been passed down for countless generations. A ritual that involved technology. The ceremony took place in a cave system that the community considered sacred. Dr. Santos was the first outsider permitted to observe in over a century. What she documented should have been impossible. The community's elders maintained a device they called the Memory Stone, a crystalline object, approximately the size of a human head, that produced images when properly activated, not reflections, not projections from external light. The stone generated its own images from within. Dr. Santos watched as the elders activated the device using a specific sequence of sounds. Tones hummed in precise patterns that had been memorized and passed down for generations. When the sequence was complete, the crystal began to glow, and then the images appeared. The images showed scenes that Dr. Santos could barely comprehend. Cities with structures unlike anything in recorded history. Vehicles that moved through the air. People using devices that resembled modern technology, but predated it by millennia. According to the elders, these were recordings, memories stored in the crystal by their ancestors, a visual history of a civilization that existed before the current age of humanity. Dr. Santos recorded everything she was permitted to record. Her footage shows the crystal glowing, shows the elders chanting, shows the faces of the community members watching images that their ancestors watched generations ago. What it doesn't show clearly are the images themselves. Every attempt to film the crystal's display directly resulted in corrupted footage. When Dr. Santos reported her discovery to academic colleagues, she was met with skepticism that quickly turned hostile. Her funding was pulled. Her academic affiliation was terminated. She was accused of fabricating evidence, despite having documented witnesses and local government officials who confirmed her presence at the ceremony. Dr. Santos has since relocated to a private research facility in Chile. She continues to study the phenomenon from a distance. The community that showed her the Memory Stone has cut off all contact with outside researchers, and the crystal continues to function, showing images of a past we've been taught never existed. The fourth discovery is perhaps the most disturbing. In 2017, A Brazilian military patrol investigating illegal mining operations in the Xingu region stumbled upon something they were never meant to find. A facility built from materials that weren't local, containing technology that wasn't ancient. According to leaked reports that have since been scrubbed from every official database, the facility was partially underground, accessed through what appeared to be a natural cave entrance. Inside, the patrol found equipment, functional equipment, devices that generated power, processed information, and maintained the facility in operational condition. Here's the thing: the facility was old. Geological analysis of the surrounding rock suggested the structure had been in place for at least 1,200 years. But the technology inside didn't look 1,200 years old. It looked modern. In some cases, it looked more advanced than modern. The patrol documented their discovery using personal cell phones after their official equipment malfunctioned inside the facility. Their footage, fragments of which leaked online before being systematically deleted, showed screens displaying data in an unknown language, machines with no visible purpose producing soft humming sounds, and in one disturbing sequence, what appeared to be biological specimens preserved in translucent containers. The patrol was extracted within hours of reporting their discovery. They were debriefed by officials who identified themselves as representatives of multiple governments. They were told that what they'd found was a classified research installation from the Cold War era. But here's what doesn't add up. No Cold War facility would have been built 1,200 years ago, and no 20th century technology produces energy the way the patrol's instruments recorded. 3 members of that patrol have since left military service. 2 of them have spoken anonymously to independent researchers. Their accounts are consistent. The facility wasn't abandoned. The equipment was running, and somewhere inside, they heard movement. Something living. Something that responded to their presence. The Xingu facility remains classified. Its exact location has been removed from military maps. And whatever is inside continues to operate, powered by energy sources that modern science claims don't exist. The 5th discovery takes us to the border region between Brazil and Colombia, where in 2008, indigenous guides led a team of researchers to what they called the House of the Old Ones. The structure had been hidden by dense jungle growth, invisible from the air, accessible only to those who knew the ancient paths. What the researchers found inside was a library, a vast chamber containing thousands of objects that appeared to be storage devices. Crystalline cylinders, metallic plates covered in inscriptions, and most remarkably, spheres that produced holographic displays when touched. Dr. Rodrigo Oliveira, who led the expedition, spent 3 days documenting the chamber's contents. His records described displays showing astronomical data, biological diagrams, and what appeared to be historical records of events that predated any known civilization. Some of the displays showed catastrophic events: floods, fires, the destruction of cities. Others showed construction, the building of structures that matched ancient sites around the world. But here's what disturbed Dr. Oliveira most. Some of the displays showed the future, events that hadn't happened yet. When he reviewed his recordings weeks later, he found footage of displays showing dates that corresponded to real events that occurred after his expedition, events he couldn't have known about when the footage was captured. Dr. Oliveira's research was immediately classified by the Brazilian government. His recordings were confiscated. He was placed under surveillance that continues to this day. When asked about the House of the Old Ones, he responds only that some knowledge is protected for good reason. The library is still there. The devices are still functional. And somewhere in those crystalline records, the future may already be written. The final discovery brings us to the present day, to an ongoing investigation that researchers believe may finally prove what the Amazon has been hiding all along. In 2023, a satellite survey detected anomalous heat signatures in a remote section of the Peruvian Amazon. The signatures indicated underground activity, energy being generated and dissipated, in patterns too regular to be geological. A research team was assembled. Their findings, leaked earlier this year, have sent shockwaves through the archaeological community. Beneath the jungle floor, at a depth of approximately 40 meters, the team discovered a network of tunnels. The tunnels were old, impossibly old, carved with precision through bedrock that would have required technology far beyond what ancient peoples were supposed to possess. And the tunnels weren't empty. They contained machines, massive machines, devices that appeared designed to process materials, generate energy, and perform functions the research team couldn't determine. Some of the machines were dormant. Others were active, still running after thousands of years, maintaining systems whose purpose we can only guess at. Most remarkably, the team found evidence of maintenance, recent maintenance. Someone or something was keeping these machines operational. The tunnels showed signs of regular access, footprints in dust that should have settled millennia ago, tools that appeared to have been used within the past decade. The research team was evacuated before completing their survey. Their documentation was classified at the highest levels of the Peruvian and Brazilian governments, and the area has since been designated a restricted zone, with military patrols preventing any unauthorized access. But here's the thing: the machines are still running, the tunnels are still being maintained, and whatever ancient civilization built them, or whatever inherited their knowledge, is still down there, still working, still keeping secrets that modern humanity was never meant to discover. 6 discoveries, 6 locations where the Amazon has hidden technology that rewrites human history. Stones that sing with energy we can't explain. Pyramids containing machines that track the planets. Crystals that store memories of forgotten civilization. Facilities maintaining themselves for centuries. Libraries holding records of past and future. And underground factories still operating after thousands of years. We've been told that ancient humans were primitive. That technology is a modern achievement. That civilization only began a few thousand years ago. But the Amazon tells a different story. A story of knowledge lost and rediscovered. Of machines built to outlast empires. Of guardians who've protected these secrets since before recorded history. If you've made it this far, thank you. Leave a like if any of these discoveries changed how you think about ancient civilizations. Tell us in the comments which Amazon mystery fascinates you most, and which ancient technology you think we should investigate next. But remember, the jungle keeps its secrets well, and some of those secrets are still running, still waiting, still guarding knowledge that could change everything we think we know about who we are and where we came from. The machines are still working. The question is, what are they working toward?